All right, here we go with our next lesson titled Adding Integers, Unit 1 2. All right, so let's go ahead and scroll up to your table of contents. We've done adding integers. Today is adding integers on a number line. All right, so here's where we left off. We already did learning goal 4. Today we're going to go ahead and do adding integers by a number line. So this is also learning goal number 4. We're going to go ahead and put the date. You can put whatever date today is, and then list learning goal number 4 on the side. All right, let's scroll back down through and go ahead and get started. So follow along. Make sure you're writing exactly what I'm showing on here. Let me pick a different color for us here. There we go, purple. All right, so we're going to start off with these key concepts, and we're looking at broken elevators. Essentially, if you look at this, it's a number line, but it's vertical. We can think about adding integers on a number line as sort of elevator movement. And an elevator in a hotel, if you've been to one, typically always starts at floor 0 or that lobby. Okay, and so that's what we want you to think about, is that we're always starting at this 0 point right here when we are representing the adding of integers on a number line. And so here's our broken elevator. So let's sort of look through this here. If I'm looking at black as the positive, I can see I'm starting at 0 here, and I want you to see I've moved up 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is a positive 4, which we would just represent as 4. And then once we have gone up to the 4th floor, now we're having negative movement. So you can see I've moved down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spots from there. Okay, and we end up at negative 5. So the thing you need to realize is we just added a negative 9 movement to this. Okay, so we are going to use that language, add a negative 9 movement. And what does that equal? You can see that after the movement to floor 4, a movement of negative 9 brought us down to negative 5, okay, below the 0 surface. All right, now turning the elevator to the side, we essentially have a number line. It's the same concept, okay? Now, what you can see here, the reason this says bunny story is, imagine that you have two different kind of bunnies. You have one bunny that is very confident, and this would be the bunny with same sign. So if you have two negatives or two positives, everything's going to move in one direction. It looks like a confident bunny knowing where he's hopping and moving. The confused bunny, however, are different signs, so a negative and a positive. And so you have movement one way, and then you have movement back another way, and it sort of looks like a confused bunny hopping around. You can see that image down below of confused bunny. Okay, so we have that kind of situation there. Okay, all right, let's hop over to the number line drawn horizontally. Remember that when we're moving positive now, positive means that we are moving to the right. So go ahead and list that right here. And then negative means that we are moving to the left. Okay. When you're doing this, we're going to remember that you want to start at 0 every time. So be thinking about that elevator. We're always going to start at 0 and then either move positive or negative from there. Okay. So we're going to always be looking and finding the first sign, okay, in the expression or equation. And the sign of the first integer will tell you which direction to move. So find the first sign and move that direction. Okay. After you do that, find the sign of the second integer and move that direction. Okay. And then the second arrow is going to end at the answer. Okay, so that's our process that we're going to follow. Okay, so you can see if we do the same exact one as the broken elevator, we'll represent the same way. We start at 0. And so here's my 0 elevator. And I moved forward a positive 4. And so it's the same idea. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then I added a negative 9. So let me grab my red. And so I went back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And so wherever I end up, there is my answer. Okay. So same way, just looks a little bit different. All right. Sliding down to our example problems now. Okay. Looking at the directions first, it says write an addition expression that's represented on the number line, and they want us to evaluate. So they want you to actually write the answer to that expression, or what it equals, the value it equals at the end. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. So the first thing you're going to do is try to find where that starting point is, and we always know that we're starting at 0. Okay, so that helps us know what's going on. So the first thing I see here is that I'm starting at 0, and I see this big bunny hop to positive 2. So that's showing me that my first number is a positive 2. Now let's identify what the second number is. So we're going to look at that, and we see it's going backwards. So you have confused bunny, okay, and that means we have opposite sign. And so we're going, I know it's ending at negative 3, but we need to know how much negative are we adding to the positive 2. So I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I always like doing those little hops. I know they have one big arc there, but so what I saw that we added to that was negative 5. So we added negative 5, and remember the arrow ends at the answer. So here's my answer, equals negative 3. Okay. All right, moving down to number 2. We always start at 0. I can see I have confident bunny. You can see it's all going in the same direction. So we're starting at 0, and I'm moving 1, 2, 3. So we moved negative 3 is our first number. And what are we adding? Because remember, we have to do an addition expression. So we're adding the negative. All right, and then we're adding an additional 1, 2, 3. So I see negative 3 and then adding another negative 3 equals, and we see negative 6 as our answer. Now, we do want to be reflecting on our other lessons, just thinking reasonableness. So we know same signs, add and keep, and so that makes sense. Same signs, I added and I kept the sign, and so negative 3 plus a negative 3 is a negative 6. Okay, so be thinking about that too and making those connections. All right, we start at 0 here for number 3, and first move is a positive 1, so we just represent it as a 1. We're making an addition equation. You can see now we're going backwards. So how much negative are we adding? I can see 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're adding a negative 4 to that. When we add a negative 4, you can see that our second arrow ends at the answer, which is negative 3. Okay, thinking about yesterday, different sign subtract. So 4 minus 1 is 3. Keep the sign of the bigger number, then you'll be exact. And so we kept the sign of the negative 4. Okay, so that makes sense based on our rule that we've experienced yesterday. All right, next one. It says, use the number line method to evaluate each expression. So now they're giving you the expression and they want you to represent it on the number line. So we're going to draw it a little bit different. Both are accurate, but I want you to be able to see the addition on top of each other. So I'm going to show you a different way. Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the first digit. Remember, the directions say start at 0, find the sign of the first integer and move that direction. So I'm going to start at 0 right here, okay, represented by just a little tick mark there. And it says I need to go negative. Negative is to the left, okay, and I need to go -8. So I'm just going to draw a line, okay, and then draw my arrow. So this shows that movement of the elevator to the left. If we had a horizontal elevator, it's sort of pointless. I guess unless you're going downtown or something, I don't know, Willy Wonka style. So we're going -8, okay? Now we're adding a +3. So from that point now, we're moving forward. So above it now, I'm going to show my next addend that we have, and I'm going to move forward 1, 2, 3, and stop there. Show that my arrow is going to there. So this is the movement we're doing. Okay. So if I record on here, I see this was my -8. This was my +3, and I ended right here. Okay. At -5. So this equals -5. Just to double check from yesterday, different sign subtract. 8 minus 3 is 5. Keep the sign of the bigger digit, then you'll be exact. And we did keep the sign, so that makes sense. All right, next problem. We're starting with a -2. Okay, because it's negative, we're starting at 0 and moving left. So I'm going to put my tick mark at 0, go left 1, 2. Okay, and show that movement to there. And then after that, we're adding another negative. In this case, we're adding a -5. Okay, so right now our elevator is at -2. Okay, and so above it, I'm showing where I currently am, and I need to add a -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So there's my -5, and this is where we end, is right here. So obviously adding the two negatives, I get -7. Okay, same signs, add and keep. So we added them and kept the sign. Okay, all right, and last one, let's just show, instead of this line format that you could see, let's just show it with little bunny hops. So that you're seeing all different methods. So it looks like right away we're starting with a +10. So that tells us that we're going to the right, okay, starting at 0. Okay, so this is how it could look also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it turned it into a line after all that hard work of bunny hopping. Jeez. Okay, there we go. All right, so there is my +10, okay? And then we're adding a -6. So I'm going to go ahead and change to red now. And here's where I am, okay? And then I need to go to the left 6 to add that -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we can see we left off our arrow at a +4. Okay, and let's see if that makes sense. Different sign subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number, then you'll be exact. So we subtracted 10 minus 6, got 4, and kept the sign of the larger number. Okay, and so you can see it's sort of like our chips method and things like that. They're canceling each other out, and we're left over with 4. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Thanks for following on listening. If you have any questions, reach out at any time. Good job today.